this is our second time in which, we have a conversation that is recorded, that is a proper interview. I remember having such a great time interviewing you for the first time, where we explored the topic of, aside from the academic study, we know that a lot of people get into university, get into a medical degree because they're smartest. But that doesn't mean that they would do well or pass or strive or thrive as a doctor. So a big part of the other side of the thing is, as we last talked about, being resilient and having great compassion, isn't it? So, I want to touch on two things, The first, so my big question is, what does it take to be a doctor? Right? So the first part is academically. Which we touched on a little bit just now, whereby you need to be super smart, right? We'll go into detail later on. But second part is the non-academic part. What are the other elements? Even though you're smart, it doesn't guarantee. So where do we start first? The first or the second?
I think when it comes to academics, it no longer is just your IQ or how smart you are. Even then, I don't know what the requirement is nowadays to get into university for medical school. But what I do know is that you don't have to score straight A's. If you are a good enough student, or if you are smart enough and you have an amazing portfolio, I'm talking about an extracurricular portfolio that shows them who you are as a person, you have a better chance of getting in, being a first student with no extracurricular work at all. I mean, that's the gist nowadays, I think, is that they want a more well-rounded person, as a, to enter the world of medicine, because what they realized was that grades wasn't everything. Because even in my year in medical school at that time, I think we had a failure rate of somewhere between 20 to 40% at the end. 20 to 40% of my friends didn't graduate at all.
Wow.
And they were all really smart students, A-star students. Some of them were scholarship students from abroad, etc. But it wasn't enough. That wasn't enough. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Do you agree, though? Let me tell you what I think,
Yeah.
I think that you need to be super smart. If there is a triple A above A, you need to be that, because my life is dependent on you. So I don't want anyone who is less smart than the super smart to be a doctor.
Okay.
So that's my point of view.
I think, I quite like the new criteria, because I don't think you have to be that smart. I think you have to be smart enough to be able to understand.
My life for anyone that is any less.
Because you can learn these things. So when you're smart, you can always, your IQ is dynamic. It's not static. I believe, anyone can kind of train their IQ to be higher than it is. You can learn to be smart. No one is fixed with you are born with this IQ and that's it. That's all you have. You can always learn it and you can always be better. But I think what's more important is their values as people. You can't buy that. You can't buy character. You can't buy values. So I would want a doctor with great values, and they can learn to be smart, throughout the course and throughout their training. They can learn to be the best doctor ever academically, even though they didn't start as one.
Okay.
And I would want that doctor.
Tell me about value. What do you mean by values?
What I mean by values is that I would want a doctor who, obviously the most important thing you need, I think, in order to be a good doctor is you need to work hard. That's a given, right? But when it comes to values, I think for me, integrity is key. You have to have integrity. You have to be the person who will do the right thing, not what's right for you. Right. And having integrity also means that you're not just doing the right thing, you're also doing the right thing, especially when no one is looking. And you're doing what you're saying, you're not just professing it. So that's...
Well, when you talk about, the most trusted profession in the world,
Yeah.
doctor is probably high up there, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, traditionally, yes.
So I don't understand why would that be an issue at all.
What do you mean, integrity?
Yeah, it's a given, right?
No, it's not a given. That's the problem.
We
Shaun,
just
you've met so
assume
many
whatever you give
people.
us,
Yeah,
it's the truth.
you assume that I'm telling you the truth. I mean, I don't want to say anything bad, but I'm just saying that people are people. Nobody's perfect. Like, you're going to have many different characters of people in whatever profession that you're talking about. But for me, integrity is really important. And secondly, what's really important is that this doctor cares about people. Like, I'm not just talking about patients, but also people they work with. And I've met brilliant doctors who are not like that at all. So what I'm saying is that's also a valuable character to have in a really good doctor, I think. So if you can show that you have integrity and you care about people, I'm sure you can kind of work your way into medical school through your interviews or through your community work or whatever it is that you're doing to build up your CV to get it.
The last time we spoke about being soft. If you are too compassionate, you're too kind, and you put your heart out there, you may be emotionally bruised at the end of the day because there are so many people pouring out to you for support. How do you balance that?
Yeah, that's hard. I think it depends what kind of person you are, because I remember there was a time when I was training in Winchester in the UK. I was a junior doctor at the time, and I was the night doctor on call looking after all these sick patients. And I've been doing that for the last, let's say, 3 days, and it was a 7-night shifts. So I'm really close to all of the patients were really sick, and I started bonding with. And then sadly on that night, they didn't make it. They passed away. They both died. And then the next morning I had to pass on, hand it over to the next morning's team. And I remember the consultant was there. And then the moment I said, okay, patient this and this died last night. And then I just broke down. And it was in the middle of this handover meeting. And it was really hard. I couldn't stop. And I remember my consultant taking me to the relatives room, usually where you take sad relatives, not doctors. So I was there, and then he was really kind because I thought, oh no, he's gonna, tell me off or something, that you're not allowed to do this, not in front of the other team members. But then instead he said, I'm so happy you cried. And then he said, don't be like me. I'm so jaded. And I said, keep that will make you a great doctor. So I still remember it to the day that he said compassion is a very important quality to have. At the same time, you still have to be really strong though, so that's why I always talk about emotional resilience as well. When it comes to this career, you have to have that. It will be hard, and you need compassion too, but I think you need a balance. Like you said, you do need a balance, and it's hard. So when I go home, I'll try to kind of decompress myself by distracting myself, not think about it and bring it home so much. And then when I go to work, I have to be, ready. I can't let whatever happened yesterday affect the quality of work that I'm going to put in today, because that will affect the patients that I'm going to see. So yeah, having that balance will be, is really important too.
But how do you switch on just like that? It's not helpful when you say that, hey, not everyone can do that.
No.
So what is your secret?
Practice. I think that's all I can say. The more years you put into this career, because I've been in it for I don't know how long now, many years. But with each difficult patient, difficult day, it builds you up, and this is where emotional resilience comes in. So emotional resilience means, you either become person A or person B. Person A being the person who will stand back up again after a really hard knock, in the day. Person B will be, that person who gives up and says, you know what, I can't do this anymore. So every time you choose to be person A, you're going to be stronger and stronger. And with practice, you will learn how to switch on and switch off, because you have to, and having that compassion when it's needed, breaking bad news to a family. because the most important thing when you do that is to show them that you care, that you're not just there as a, you know, a robot telling them, oh, your kid's got this diagnosis, but actually, oh my God, this doctor really cares and they want the best for my child, you know, for example. So it takes practice, and you're not going to get it in day one, but you know, you have to have that emotional resilience switched on, and you can only get that with practice.
And what I also hear, and that is so important, is the word choice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you say that, you know, you choose to do this or not.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
I think
absolutely.
This is so precious, not only for the job seekers, but for a lot of people. I can see in the chat room, a lot of people are, you know, are leaders, are professionals, some business owners are tuning in to listen to you, Dr. Fee.
Okay.
And we all need to learn how to switch on and switch off and compartmentalize and be professional. So it's not just being a doctor. So I'm so glad that you know, we touch on that point.
Thanks.